Howdy folks, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous with the mighty Jingles. I'm not going to be talking about the latest community goal this week. Well, I'm going to be talking about it, I'm just not going to be doing it. The reason for that is that in the wake of an attempted assassination on a member of the Imperial family, those Federation window lickers have decided that there's room for even more window lickers inside the Federation, and the Federal Congress have voted to allow asylum for the Marlinist terrorists, whom they're now calling refugees, and allowing them to settle within federal systems. To that end, the latest community goal offers you the choice of either transporting supplies and materials in order to allow the terrorists to get settled in window licker space, or fly combat patrols taking down pirates attempting to interdict the supply convoys bringing the supplies to the terrorist scumbags taking advantage of the offer of political asylum and settling in window licker space. So basically my options this week were help the terrorists or help the terrorists. And no, I don't think so. I don't think I will. Instead, this week I'm going to be kicking back, relaxing, doing a bit of exploration and just getting myself ready for the inevitable war that's going to kick off between the Empire and the Federation, which quite frankly seems pretty inevitable at this point, given that the window lickers have just voted to allow refuge to the terrorist scumbags who just this week attempted to assassinate, and luckily failed, a member of the Imperial family. Read all about it on Galnet. Anyway, I've got better things to do this week. I'm back in my Diamondback Explorer, the general contact unit only slightly bent. E&M Banks fans represent. And you might have wondered what this corrosion damage thing is that keeps popping up in the warning display on the top right corner of the screen. And the reason for that, there it is again, is, well, I don't have a corrosion resistant cargo rack, which is a bit of a problem. Although they're not that difficult to get, there's an engineer who will sell an extremely small, only capable of carrying 2 tons of cargo, corrosion resistant cargo rack. And there are ways of getting bigger ones, but at the moment I don't have either. And the reason I need one is because I've got some Thargoids stuff in my cargo bay. To be specific, Thargoid sensor 1 in number, which I picked up from the crashed Thargoid ship that you might recall I was sniffing around ages ago on the trail of unlocking one of the engineers. And the reason I have that Thargoid sensor is because, well, just be patient. You'll see. I've just arrived in the Mel 22 Sector NXU D231 system. Yes, that's a bit of a mouthful. And it would be a completely unremarkable system if it wasn't for one thing. There's a big-ass Thargoid structure on one of the planets in this system. Now, I have been here before. Unfortunately, the first time I arrived here, as I drove up to what looked like the gates of the Thargoid structure, it kind of did the old shutdown thing on my surface reconnaissance vehicle. It turns out that that doesn't happen as long as you have a Thargoid sensor in your surface reconnaissance vehicle's cargo bay. Yes, I know. Once again, this was very much another one of those you really should have read up a little bit on the subject before you turned up, Jingles, but hey, it's all part of the learning experience. And there's the Thargoid structure. And it's really big. I mean, we're 3.5 kilometers away from the center, and look at the size of that thing. Unfortunately, I'm on the night side of this planet. This is planet 3A within this system, by the way, in case you decide to come out here and check it out for yourself. But yeah, because we're on the night side, unfortunately, I have to use the ship's night vision in order to be able to see where I'm going. I'd really like to know what this looks like in daylight. That may not even be a thing. This planet may very well be tidally locked, and this structure is going to be perpetually on the night side. I don't actually know. Still, depending on how long we stick around, we might find out. Just doing a slow circle. Checking it out. If anything's going to start shooting at me, I'd like to at least have the option of making a running start. Just looking for a landing spot. I don't want to land the ship too close. Here we go. Come on, bugger off with your unsuitable terrain. There we go. And we're down. So, just going to transfer into the SRV. And once I'm in the SRV, I need to make sure I transfer that Thargoid sensor from the ship's cargo hold to the SRV's cargo hold. Now remember, the SRV can only carry 2 tons of cargo, and if I've got a Thargoid sensor in the cargo hold, that doesn't leave a lot of capacity for picking up anything interesting while I'm here. So, we must be cautious. Switch the lights to full beam, because I don't want to have to rely on night vision. I mean, it works. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, it looks like the sun is coming up on the horizon over there. But yeah, the night vision works for getting around and, you know, seeing what's there, but it's not real, is it? I mean, it is real, it's just not what you're looking at actually looks like, and I want to experience this properly. You understand what I mean? Oh, something over there. A canister with a Thargoid link in it, which apparently is legal salvage. What the hell is a Thargoid link? I have no idea. I do know I better get a move on before this corrosive Thargoid sensor causes irreversible damage to the SRV. Then again, as long as you have plenty of engineering materials, there's no such thing as irreversible damage to the SRV. Unless you completely write it off and destroy it, it can always be repaired. Still, let's not push our luck, shall we? A couple of minutes later, I'm getting closer to the centre, and I'm locked onto a Thargoid uplink device. Does anybody know what a Thargoid uplink device is? This thing seems to be dotted in them. Can I get a scan of it? Looks like I can. Ah, new data discovered. Thargoid residue data. Thargoid structure data. Okay, that means nothing to me. If that's some kind of engineering data, I have no idea what it's used for. I have yet to come across any kind of blueprint that requires it. But it has to be, you know, it must exist for a reason. Well, none of this is getting me any closer to the centre. All this speculation is great, but it's not actually serving any useful purpose at the moment. That toxic Thargoid sensor is still eating away at the SRV systems. I'm trying to get closer to the centre and I spot some kind of organic structure. What the hell's this? Let's see if we can get a scan running. Yep, we're scanning. Ooh, meta-alloys detected. Right. Again, I don't know if you can remember as far back as when I was first starting down the engineering grind, but there were some of the engineers who required Thargoid meta-alloys. And I had to go an awful long way out of the way in order to find a planet that was covered in these things. There we go, cargo bay full. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to hold on to the meta-alloys. I've now filled up the cargo bay. And I still don't seem to be any closer to the centre of this thing. I mean, how big is it? I think I'm going to dump the meta-alloys. I mean, I know I can get meta-alloys elsewhere, but there might be things inside there that I can only get here. I'm not entirely sure what all these Thargoid link canisters are, but they seem to be inside the structure. I'm going to turn the night vision on just for the purpose of navigating effectively, because I need to find an entrance. There we go. That's what I'm here for. The first time I came here, this is about as far as I got. I don't know if this is the only entrance, but I found an entrance that looked pretty much like this. And, well, you'll see what starts to happen. Or maybe not, once you start getting closer to the entrance. I got to within about 50 meters, and suddenly all of my systems started shutting down. And I had to back off. There it is. However, because I have the Thargoid sensor in my cargo hold this time, my systems don't get shut down and the door does open. It basically functions as a key. So if you're seeing this now for the first time, so am I. I'm still taking toxic damage, of course, but I don't really want to drop the Thargoid sensor at this point because the door might not open for me on the way out without it. And I don't want to take the chance. So what are these Thargoid links? It's a canister of some kind, which means it's cargo. And again, I only have one spare ton of cargo space. What are these? Oh. I've seen those before. Scavengers. On the planet where I was lasering away organic structures to farm meta-alloys, there were scavengers just like those, sort of tending to the organic structures. A bit like bees harvesting pollen. So this is where the Thargoid link canisters are. The scavengers, if my experience of them is anything to go by, they'll leave you alone as long as you leave them alone. What's this? Thargoid resin. Now, I have never heard of that before, so that seems like it might be worth taking. Let's see if I can get a scan of this Thargoid link, whatever the hell it is. Or, oh, the Thargoid resin will scan. Nothing. Well, I scanned it, but I didn't actually get anything out of the scan. Did I just do it wrong? Nope. Which is bizarre, because I've never seen Thargoid resin before, but this scan result is basically telling me that I've already scanned something that has those material properties. What the hell it is, I have no idea. This place looks like one of H.R. Geiger's wet dreams. I have absolutely no clue whatsoever what the function of any of this stuff is. I'm just glad nobody's shot at me yet. Fingers crossed. Let's see, we're going left. More scavengers ahead. Remember, if you don't piss them off, they'll leave you alone. See if I can get a scan of one, because I never did that the first time around. There we go, xenological discovery made. Thargoid scavengers, fantastic. See, it's already worth coming here. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to drive into you. That was not a hostile act. Please don't kill me. Wait, what the hell's that? What's in that chamber? Oh, this looks serious. What the hell is that? Even though I have a Thargoid sensor in my cargo bay, my heads-up display is still going a bit screwy here. I think this, and I was able to get a scan, this Thargoid device might be the source of the interference. So many things in here I've never seen before. Thargoid uplink device. Oh, and I can get a scan of that. In what is probably beginning to sound like a familiar refrain at this point, I really should have done a little bit of homework. Beyond that which was required to just gain entry to this place before coming here. I still don't know exactly what this Thargoid device is, but I do know that if you bring it the correct number of items, it will show you a star map. Now where that star map leads to, again, I don't know. But the items that you require, I already have one of them. The Thargoid sensor. Another one of the items that you require is here anyway, the Thargoid links. The third and final item, however, is a little bit harder to come across. You need a Thargoid probe. And the only way to get a Thargoid probe is from the wreck of a Thargoid ship. And wrecking Thargoid ships is a little bit more challenging than just strolling into one of these structures and picking up a link canister. So where do you get Thargoid probes? Well, according to the Elite Dangerous wiki, Thargoid probes spawn in non-human signal sources in the vicinity of ammonia worlds in the Pleiades Nebula region. Signal sources with threat level 5 to 7 may randomly have a Thargoid probe or sensor. The only problem is, signal sources with threat levels 5 to 7 also have Thargoid interceptors. And they will attack if they detect Thargoid objects within a pilot's cargo hold. Or in other words, shit. You see, last week's community goal was killing Thargoids, but I'm more than a bit crap. And I merely restricted myself to using turreted weapons on an Anaconda to go after the piddly little Thargoid scouts in threat level 3 and 4 non-human signal sources. But if I want to get my hands on a Thargoid probe and unravel the mystery contained within the Thargoid device in this surface site, I'm going to have to, well, man the fuck up. Go into threat level 5, 6 or 7 non-human signal sources and run the gauntlet of the Thargoid interceptors. And, well, I kind of want to, because I want to unravel this mystery, but I also kind of don't want to, because Thargoid interceptors scare the shit out of me. So let's just say I'm going to put a pin in that one and save it for the future. Probably not next week. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.